Got the Equinox, the 6-inch on, and the Deus with the elliptical coil on it. And I'll show you the difference between these machines. I have quite a few hours on both of them, so the Equinox is an awesome machine. Don't get me wrong in this video. I've gotten a lot of rings, a lot of jewelry with the Equinox, especially with this coil right here. This coil can go deep. But once you get around some trash here, I'm in Park 1 here, iron off, 50 tones, 8 recovery speed. I'll actually go down on that. Iron bias, set at 0, right? I'll go to 6 recovery speed. A little bit easier to hear the tones there. But I have my iron off here, and I'm in Park 1. Gonna go over this ring. I have a small ring right here, a brass ring, a bottle cap, a quarter, some foil, and some can slaw right there. And I also have some iron too. I'll show you the difference between these machines here. You know, a lot of junk here, right? Park 1 is it's falsing on iron, right? A bunch of nails down there. I'll turn the iron on, watch. See, it's just falsing on the heads of the nails. And I'll go over to this ring here. It's super jumpy, right? I prefer 50 tones because the more tones that you have, the more you can identify targets. And the more you can lift your coil up, and if that target changes, or if you rotate on that target and it changes a little bit, it's more of a junky target. It's not a round target. You want to go for the round stuff, right? You want to go for round targets. That's what we're after, right? If you're wanting jewelry. And wherever you find jewelry, wherever you find coins, you're going to find bottle caps, foil, and can slaw. Just a gimme, right? In parks, schools, wherever you're hunting. You know, in farm fields, it's a lot different story, but this ring is really jumpy in Park 1. But in iron, you know, I would definitely use Park 2. This bottle cap tone, I dig up a lot of bottle caps with the Equinox. There's just no way around it, man. My tone is going down just a little bit, right? But it's very difficult to hear that tone change in 50 tone. If I'm in 5 tone here, watch what it does. Same tone, right? With 50 tone, you can hear just that little bit of difference in the tones there, because you have more of a range of targets, more of a tonal range there in 50 tone. So I'll keep it in 50 tone here. This is a 50 tone test. Coin. See how it's bumping around there? Because there's iron in the ground, right? If I back out of these targets here, I'm gonna get iron no matter what, right? So in my hot soil, in the trashy spots, if you back out of targets, you're gonna be missing a lot of cool recoveries, because pretty much dig up the bottle caps. You know, I've found a lot of rings under bottle caps, a lot of coins under bottle caps, and it just I dig all this stuff up anyway, except for the can slaw, with my Deus. With the Equinox, the foil is deadly, man. I love the Equinox for foil, man. You can clear out an area of all the foil that's masking targets in the ground there, because that's where you find this stuff. Jewelry, coins, you find it where all the foil's at too. And with the Equinox, you can pinpoint that foil and get it out of the surface there and unmask some targets. But if you're going for coins, the Equinox is really good in clean ground, right? I'll introduce some iron here. I'll turn my iron is on. Hear the iron? I'll just put the iron right there, right next to that one, because I'm done with that test. And I'm done with this test, and I'll put the iron right there, right next to that ring there. And the foil thing, you know, I love the Equinox, man. The foil is just so awesome. It's such a great tone. This can slaw, I'm getting a bland tone, right? I'm in 50 tone. I'm in Park 1 still. And actually, I'll go into Park 2 here to make it a little bit easier on the Equinox here. And I'll check my settings here. 6 recovery speed, iron bias 0. I always have my iron bias at 0, right? Except when I'm in pretty clean ground. But listen to this tone on the can slaw. That's a dig me up tone all day long, right? You have to look at the machine, you know, it's an 8, 9, 8, 9. but I'm getting a single tone on it, right? It's a really bland tone. It's not a very rich tone. It's not a dynamic tone. It's not giving you any overload tones. It's not giving you much character in those tones there. And this bottle cap, I'm getting that same tone in Park 2. I'm getting that same tone on that bottle cap, no matter where I'm at, right? I get some iron tones, but on all of these targets, I back out of here. There's not a lot of iron here, but there could be some iron around a coin if, you know, if you're going for the jewelry and stuff. I dig up the bottle caps anyway, but with the Deus, I can skip up those bottle caps if I want. But this coin here, it's falsing on the iron. When I go that way over the coin there, and when I go that way over the coin. Park 2, you know, it's supposed to be a lot better than iron. It's falsing on iron down there that's in the soil. When I'm sweeping fast, you know, because I'm not going like this everywhere. You know, I'm not sweeping like this. I'm going like this, you know. I'm sweeping through the park, you know, swinging fast. I want targets to pop out at me. You know, I want targets to be clean. So I don't have to look at my detector and wiggle around it and lift my coil and play with it for 5 minutes before I dig the target up. I just dig it up. If I get a nice solid tone, boom, I'm digging it up. This foil, or the cancel, very bland tone. But the Equinox, you know, that's why I prefer the Equinox in 50 tone, because you can really tell what you're digging out a lot more than 5 tone or 2 tone. But I got the Deus here, and I'll just stick in a stock program. And I had to dial the Equinox in a little bit there. Hot program number 9. I won't ground balance right now because it's not necessary. I'll just discriminate up to 0. How about that? Discriminate up to 0. To make it a little bit easier, if you don't know the Deus, make it a little bit easier for the beginner users of the Deus, or, you know, but I like hearing all the iron. I really like a rich tone, a lot of iron tones in it, so you can hear that iron around your targets, just a little bit. You don't want too much. But with that, with the Equinox, it was falsing on those, right? And if I can go into different frequencies and stuff, and the Equinox won't even hit it in lower frequencies, that coin right there, it won't hit the foil in the lower frequencies, it won't even hit it, right? And you have to have the higher frequencies in multi-frequency. But here's 0 discrimination, 14 kilohertz. I can hear the iron in there. You know, I can hear the low grunts in it. But you can hear that just a little bit higher. You can definitely hear it going this way. You know, that's an easy target for the Deus. Look at that. I can lift my coil up with the iron in there. I'll even take the iron out. I'm getting the same tone when I lift up on that. I'm getting the same tone, even with the iron in there, right next to it, right? I'm getting the same tone. With this bottle cap, way different story, right? It's an overload, I can just tell. I don't have to look at my detector. I don't have to look at the numbers. I can spend more time swinging and listening to targets instead of looking at my detector, right? The other detectors have numbers and stuff. This one has numbers too, but I don't look at the numbers with the Deus. This is just a stock program. Lifting the coil up, and I get a low grunt, right? I don't have to back out on it, right? Because if I back out of my soil, like I said, I'm going to get iron anyway, right? Especially with the other detectors. All this is iron here, right? There's some foil down. That's a huge piece of foil down there I buried. Here's that foil. Nice, beautiful, low conductor. I dig up all the foil, man. With all my machines, I dig up as much foil as I can, man. Because that's what the gold rings sound like. This is that aluminum, this cancel out right here. I'm just going to swing over it and listen to it. It's an overload. That's the aluminum tone, right? That is the junk tone with this hot program here. And so is this bottle cap right here. It's a womp, 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 womp. With that coin right there, it's a beep, 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 right? Even with the iron around there, right? And I can lift my coil up. I don't have to look at the ground. I don't have to look at my detector. I just lift my coil up, and I know that's a coin. It's something round. With this bottle cap, listen to it really closely. It's being overloaded. The same with the cancel out right here. but it's a lower tone, but it's still this, it's that overload grunt signal. I call this tone right here, the can slaw tone, the junk tone, the aluminum tone. Aluminum sounds way different, the can slaw sounds way different than the foil, the low conductive targets. I want to get jewelry out, right? We want to all get jewelry out. That's what we're going for, you know. Most of the guys who hunt in parks or in this trashy scenario here, we're going for the jewelry and we're going for the coins. You know, the deeper stuff, you know, is a little bit tougher to get with any machine. But with the Deus, listen to that. I'm getting the same exact tone, the pitch with that. And it's right on the fringe of the depth of detection, and I'm still getting that same tone. With other machines, like with the older Whites machines, the bottle caps sound exactly like the quarters, right? Coins are very evident on this machine. It's just a round tone. It's like people said, the Deus has that round tone to it, but it also has that aluminum tone. It also has that bottle cap tone. It also has the foil tones. You know, I'm still trying to figure that out. You know, there's not really any way to get rid, to avoid digging up foil, because foil sounds like gold rings with all machines. But that's what separates the Deus from the Equinox. And I'll put it in 74 kilohertz frequency and I'll really show you what's up with it, right? I'll really show you, and it's still in hot program, right? And I'm just gonna do the hot program. I can put it in pitch program and really show you, go into detail about the richness of tones with this. The pitch tones can really, you can get a lot of targets out fast, but you'll be digging up more junk in pitch tones. But this is in 14 kilohertz, right? That ring isn't coming out that great, right? Because it's really close to the iron tone, right? But I'm getting it really good right there. It's a solid target. I can pinpoint it very, very easy. I'm not getting a bunch of side falsings on the iron. Now I'll just change one thing, and just the stock hot program, I'll alter it a little bit here. I'll go to 74 kilohertz. This is a huge difference, right? See, watch. No falsing on the iron. The Deus just doesn't false on those nails, man. Get it out of my pocket here. See if I can reach in there and grab it. So evident, man. I would dig that up all day long, and I've tried it with the Equinox and the Deus or the Amphibio and the Simplex, and it struggles on this big time, right? And the Simplex struggles with this quarter here too. And this quarter, watch this. It doesn't go nearly as deep because I'm in higher frequency, but the higher frequency, you still get higher tones on that. I don't hear the iron. The iron is non-existent, right? I'm getting the same tone as I rotate on it. It's not changing one bit, and I'm in full tones here, right? This is a stock program. Now watch this bottle cap overload. I just know that that's a bottle cap just from the tone of it, right? I'll lift up on my coil, and it goes way down, right? That is a bottle cap tone. With the foil tone, that's jewelry, man. I just always think the foil sounds like jewelry on all machines, man. I just dig up the foil. That's a good tip. Dig up the foil. This can slaw right here, this is the biggest thing of all right here. The can slaw. Guys dig up a lot of can slaw, man. I have dug up probably thousands of pounds of can slaw through my years of detecting. But I dig very little bottle caps, and almost, the nails are non-existent with the Deus. I don't dig up very few nails. With the can slaw, I dig up a lot less of it now too. Listen to this tone. That is the aluminum tone for the Deus, right there, right? That's can slaw, that's junk. That's just a junk signal. You see me swinging in the parks really fast, and when I swing over stuff like that, I just skip them up. I just keep on swinging, right? Because it's can slaw. I'm not gonna spend my time digging up that junk right there, right? Because there's so much of it out there. especially in fields, you know, that even in fields, this is for a park scenario, but in fields, there's a lot of can slot, and I just skip up those tones. With the bottle caps, it's an overload, and the tone changes on me, right? I don't have to be looking at my detector. I don't have to back out of the coil, you know, because I can't back out because there's iron in my soil to begin with. If I was in pitch tones, you know, I would be digging all this stuff up anyway. I think that I'll turn this machine off here. The pitch tones, you dig up quite a bit more junk, but you can pinpoint your targets much easier, and you have to discriminate, and you have to know what you're going for if you're going to be discriminating, you know, because you don't want to be discriminating out like lower conductive targets like gold rings. But gold rings are so evident anyway that the Deus just seems to really thrive at those rings, you know, even the gold rings. In 74 kilohertz frequency, it doesn't really matter your range of discrimination. You know, it's the frequency is really what counts. 74 kilohertz frequency can get through the iron, and it can get through the trash, and the targets just seem to pop out of the iron and pop out of the trash, especially the higher conductive targets. You know, the lower conductive targets are a little bit harder in full tones to listen for, but in pitch tones, that's the jewelry program. The pitch programs, or any program that has the pitch tones in it, that's the jewelry. You know, that's how you can get a lot of trash out and a lot of jewelry out. And with the full tones, that's a coin program, man. The coins are just so evident. Out of all my detectors, man, I just know that it's something round, and even if there's iron around it, I know that there is some iron in the hole with that higher conductor. And it's most of the time it's a coin. I've been really doing a lot of testing with all my machines. I've done thousands and thousands of hours testing many machines. I've even tested prototypes that are not on the market yet, but I think that the Deus can do just as much as most detectors, but it's just not waterproof, and it takes a lot to set up in most sites. But once you get it dialed in, it just thrives in these conditions. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.